Hi, it's Melissa from Special Ed Law Mom, and today I want to talk to you about retaliation. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Okay, so we talk a lot on this channel about the rights of the students, as we should. This channel is focused on special education law, IDEA, all of those things. But there are some rules about retaliation and retaliating against families for advocating. And those happen to fall under rules that the Office of Civil Rights oversees. Believe it or not, when you are a parent that speaks up and doesn't just accept whatever is offered, you expect something to be individualized or whatnot, you're not always favored. You're not going to be chosen as the, most wonderful mom that they welcome at the school all the time because you are expecting different than the status quo. And we have joked in the past, my family and I, that sometimes when I would pull in the parking lot of a school, that there would be this silent and or not silent, but some sort of an announcement that Mrs. Wallace is in the parking lot because I have eyes and ears and I'm not afraid to speak up. And I will do whatever it takes for my kids to get what they need. Um, and that's not always well received. And a lot of times you can be referred to as just the mom. We had a situation, I could go on and on about retaliation, but we had a situation where we had filed due process and did that in order to invoke stay put, which meant while we filed for the hearing and we're waiting for it to happen, everything that was in place that they were trying to take away had to stay in place. And that's all we wanted. We just wanted a little bit of time of services staying in place so that our daughter could wean herself from having an aid rather than just the aid is gone overnight. So it took about 3 months for our hearing to come to where we were actually going to have the hearing. And by that point, our daughter was accustomed to the school. The aide had pulled back slowly, which was exactly what we were asking for. And so there wasn't a reason to go to due process. So we withdrew our due process complaint, I think just a few days before the hearing was supposed to happen. And of course, the school system was really angry, but the system had worked for us. We had forced the stay put. Our daughter was successful. There wasn't a reason to continue with the due process. But I bring that up because a few months later, the school system wanted to take our daughter's IEP away because suddenly she didn't need anything. And I was just the mom, and the person in charge of her file proceeded to tell me that he had a master's in special education, which made him the expert, even though I'm the mom of this child. And he told us that our daughter left her autism at the school door every day, that it never came into the school building. Okay. So you can be talked down to, you can be treated really poorly. My next child, we purposely put her in a different school nearby, got a permit granted because we didn't want to have the fights with the same idiots that we'd been fighting for my other daughter. We were trying to take the high road, even though it was inconvenient for us to have to drive kids to two different schools. The start times and end times worked that we could do that. So we got a permit to take our second daughter to a school that was different, a mile or so away. And we show up at the school, and the first day, a district administrator meets us on the playground and starts questioning why I'm on the playground walking my kindergartner to the back of the school. And she tells me that I can leave my kindergartner at the front of the school and she can walk all the way around the school herself to the very back where the kindergarten class is, and that I don't need to be on the school grounds. How do you think that one went over? And if I had known what I know now, I would have immediately filed a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights. But I had this woman meet me in the morning, and she met me after school. And she tried to tell me that there were no safety issues with my daughter as I watched my daughter run through a busy parking lot because she had no awareness of danger. And I've got this administrator trying to talk my ear off about how I don't need to be at the school and I can just sit in my car or drop my kid off and she'll just know what to do. Really? Really? I looked at her and said, I'm sorry, are you asking all of these other parents to drop their kid off? Because I seem to be the only one you're talking to. And there was some fumbling and not knowing what to say. And I held firm. And I'm very glad I did for a variety of reasons. One of which was there were times where the kindergarten teachers didn't come out to get the kids when the school day started. And one day they were out there 10 minutes after the bell had rung, and all the other kids in the school had gone in. And I was the only parent, I think there was me and maybe one other, still standing there. There was no adult supervision with these 5-year-olds out on an open playground that anybody could have come to. But I'm supposed to just drop my kid off. And of course, I'm the only one that has that rule. That's not okay. There are so many stories I could tell you about retaliation. We had one once where our oldest daughter was having some depression issues, different school. She was having, and my kids were actually in the same school for one of the 2 years that that happened. And she was having some depression issues. The school system would not acknowledge them. I was asking that they let their counselor come and talk to her. They told us there was no issue. I'm driving my daughter to school every day. We were driving 30 minutes, 25 miles one way to this special school for autism. And I'm driving her, and she's banging her head against the car, screaming she doesn't want to go. And I'm asking the school, what is going on? I need the counselor involved. What is happening? And so finally, one day, I'd had enough. And I walked in with her and I walked to the front office and I said, we have a problem. My daughter needs to see a counselor and she needs to see a counselor now. And I'm not going to leave until she does. So please, could you let someone know that we're here and we're waiting? We waited about 45 minutes and a counselor finally came. They talked to us. My daughter was able to tell them her concerns, whatnot. They tell us they're going to do this and that to address them. She wasn't being challenged. The teacher was not the greatest. And they were going to give her some extra work and try to give her some stimulation with learning because she wasn't getting any of it. And I go home that night and I get an email from the board president of this charter school who happens to be an attorney. She's an attorney. And she writes me and tells me I'm no longer allowed on the premises of the school other than to pick my children up. I'm not welcome in the building. I made the staff feel uncomfortable. And so I'm not welcome in the building anymore. And I can only pick my kids up. That's it. And when you picked them up, you had to tell someone that you were there to get them, and then they would send your child out. So I wrote back and said, I'm not allowed to interact with the staff. Okay. I'm supposed to tell someone when I'm there to pick up my kids. So does that mean that you or the principal that you're saying I can talk to are the only, you're saying those are the only two people I can talk to, are you or the principal? Are you saying you're going to be out there in the rain, snow, sleet, or hail? Rain, let me rephrase that. Are you going to be out there in all weather types every day? So you're the only ones I can talk to? And I included, you're creating a hostile environment and I need to have meaningful participation in my child's education. and you're denying that. And so until I'm assured that that's going to be allowed, my children will not be returning to school. And the principal, the attorney, you know who you are. She actually lives in my neighborhood. Um, she didn't respond because what could she say? And so the principal wrote and said, "Oh, there's been a complete misunderstanding. And of course, you're welcome at the school." There's lots of forms of retaliation that happen. It doesn't have to be that blatant. We had it, if you've watched my transition videos, which I hope to do a smaller one. They're three or four parts, and it's like, I think it's almost an hour and a half total, so it gets a little long. But on that one, they kept prolonging a dialogue that we wanted to have, that we needed to have because graduation was approaching. And we needed to have this dialogue, and they would not have it and said it was, whenever we requested it, they said that the dialogue was premature. And then they decided to have a meeting without us and make the very decision that we had been asking to discuss for 4 or 5 months and sent me a notice in the mail. You don't think that's retaliation? They didn't even, I mean, IDEA says I'm supposed to be a part of any placement changes. Forcing my daughter to graduate was a placement change that they weren't willing to discuss, and then they discussed on their own, and they waited to see what the repercussions were. And the repercussions were, I not only filed a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights, but I also filed a state IDEA complaint that ended up costing them quite a bit of money because the state found in our favor and compensatory education for some other issues were ordered. And we were able to show them that we could actually pursue their failures for 2 years, in addition to the denial of meaningful participation. And they paid a settlement to make us go away. So there is retaliation that happens subtly. We just do something without you and ask for forgiveness later, hope you don't pursue it. And there's retaliation of, you're not welcome at the school and you can't come on the playground. And whatever it is, and it can be difficult to prove, which is why you need to keep good records and have a paper trail. Whatever it is, it's illegal and you can pursue it. And if you'd like to know more about pursuing it or have me look at your records and see if I feel comfortable writing a complaint for you, I'd be happy to do so. You can reach me at specialeducationlawmom@gmail.com. You can comment below. I'll send you an intake form. I can go through some information for free up to 30 minutes, and then I'll let you know if I think that I can help you and what I would propose. So don't let them bully you. Don't let them retaliate against you. Nip it in the bud. If I had had, if I had known when that kindergarten BS was happening, that would have made a great OCR complaint. But I didn't. But I do now. And I'd love to help protect you. So I hope that that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Again, contact me. And until next time, I hope you make it a great day. Thanks. Bye.